Welcome to Ireland and my album, Home.
Standing in the foyer of the Grand Hotel, suitcase in his hand looking for a bill. There's a hurricane coming and everyone's trying to get away. Time of the season, time of the year. The weather reporter from Miami is clear. Find a safe place to hide. There's no place here. And then the lights go down in that Caribbean town. And the fishing boats that go out from the coast are tied up and dry. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Suddenly there's a...
Well, I've been interested in a long time to do an acoustic style album, kind of a back to basics record, revisiting some songs from the past.
They close down the borderline, 'cause there ain't nowhere to hide, waiting for the hurricane. There is nowhere here to hide, waiting for the hurricane. Oh, there is nowhere.
One of the fascinating things for me about the Home album has been looking back into my past catalogue and coming across songs that I've completely forgotten about. For example, Waiting for the Hurricane.
Out the window of the Grand Hotel, the sea was
I suddenly remembered a film called Key Largo with Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall set in the Florida Keys, and I remember being impressed by that. So my song Waiting for the Hurricane, I took the action into the Caribbean where they are waiting for the hurricane, and I imagined a rundown hotel with guests all trying to leave the island.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Suddenly there's a moment to the radio, but nobody's getting home to.
When we recorded Waiting for the Hurricane in my home, it was wild outside and there was a hurricane on the way. It was high winds and rain, and you can actually hear some of this on the original soundtrack, which is great fun, you know.
There is nowhere here to hide, waiting for the hurricane. Oh, there is nowhere you can hide, waiting for the hurricane. No, 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 no. There is nowhere you can hide, waiting for the hurricane.
You know that feeling when you're at a party and it's a very crowded room and suddenly you look right across the room and your eyes lock on with somebody else and it's that instant psh, fire, you know, that goes on. And I wrote the song about that feeling. Plus, I'd just visited a beautiful place in France called Mont Saint-Michel, and I had a feeling of that being in my mind as well during this song. Fire on the water.
We are alone in this crowded room.
I've always written in a very visual way, so I can see it like a film in my mind. And one of the thrilling things about this record is that many of the songs are short films in my mind, and most, if not all of them, were written at home here in Ireland, which gives me another reason for, you know, calling it home.
And I can see the fire on the water. I can see the light shining in your eyes. I know that I can't stop it now, 'cause I've been caught in the heat of the sun.
Once again, this is a very visual song, like a movie in your mind. And picture, it's a prison and a prison cell looking out the window as a prisoner, and he's way elevated, and down in the bay, the moon is on the water. He sees this sailing ship, and it's just about to set off to the north where his heart is and his lover is waiting for him, and it's just called Sailor. Underneath a silver moon, the ship is like a ghost.
She's been out there for a week, just waiting for the wind to blow. Sailor, can you hear me? Sailor, hear my call.
Well, I think everybody has that wonderful feeling of coming home. It's what I often refer to as the haven theory, you know, where it doesn't matter what you're going back to, it's your place, it's your home. You open your front door, you close it, and that's your home.
Take me home.
I remember one time I'd been on tour in Russia, and it was snow for a month. And coming back to the green of Ireland, it was like walking into a garden. It was beautiful.
Bringing on the shore again to be with you.
Although I wrote this song quite a long time ago, it seems to me that the words are apropos to the current days, because here in Ireland, in my country, we've been living through the Celtic Tiger years, the boom years, and these words seem to apply very much to the kind of craziness that was going on, people just making money, 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 and now we're at the wrong end of that particular boom year. And this is called Love and Time.
She is alone again, wondering how her world could have been. He's on the phone again, telling her he'll be working late. We're gonna have a real good life.
Well, Ireland is a very special country, not only historically but also spiritually, and for me it is clearly home. I've always loved coming back here, particularly if I've travelled abroad. It feels sometimes when you're far away in a very big country, a very fragile and small country that needs to be protected. But it has an astounding amount to offer, and just being here, it feels like for me immersing myself in a sea of information, of history, of architecture, of course family and friends, which are the most important of all. I get ideas for songs from many places, and I remember one time I was talking to a friend on the phone. I said, "How are you feeling?" And she said, "Oh, I wish I could go home now and my husband give me a nice massage." And I thought, that's an interesting thing to say, because how many of us with our partners don't really notice when they come in or they need a hug, or in this case, tender hands. So that's why I came up with the idea of tender hands.
Oh, how at the journey's end I lie in the heat of the night, feeling the heartache, wondering why. I want a friend to lay down beside me. I want a friend, I want her now, someone who knows what I mean when I say that I need tender hands to hold me. I need tender hands tonight. Will you lay them on my shoulders? Will you lay them on my eyes? And I need tender hands to take me all the way to paradise. And then when it's over, I need tender hands to hold me through the night.
Some years ago, I went to visit a friend of mine who's the singer from U2 called Bono, and he was living in an old Martello tower. And in this tower, we sat there was a fire, and I remember there was a kind of a droning sound that I couldn't quite place. It was from some kind of mechanical thing. It was and I think I must have picked up a guitar and I started playing along. And the song I'm Not Scared Anymore began from that moment.
When I think about the ways of the other world and all the ones who've gone before, well, I believe they can see us. I believe they are with us. They can hear every word that we speak. I'm not scared anymore.
The song developed from there and into obviously a more intimate setting, and then it gets much stronger, thinking about all those who've gone before and my beliefs that we can be heard and we can be seen by those who've died in the past. I'm not scared anymore.
I'm not scared anymore. I'm not scared anymore. When I'm looking at my children and the world where we live, and the violence coming every day, well, I know I'll protect them with the power of my love, to the very last drop of my blood. I'm not scared anymore. Can you hear me? I am here. Can you see me? I am here.
You know, when I look back on my career, there are obviously going to be moments when things happened which were absolutely fantastic, highlights, you know, big spikes in life. The key to it for me has been to be surrounded by terrific people who support me through thick and thin, give me encouragement when things are going wrong, and when something has really gone right, we really celebrate it.
It's a way of living forever. It's a way of living the dream.
This is a song that really happened by accident. It came out like a stream of consciousness, a series of images and ideas, sparked off by just the feeling of knowing where we and I will be going after life has ended.
Come down to the
It's just a whole collage of ideas, but it's got a very up feeling.
It's a way of living forever.
We're taking a short break from filming in the area, and we've come to this beautiful place which is called Malfield House, which is a hotel, and the family who live here and own the place have been friends of my family for more than 50 years, so it's a beautiful spot. We just have a cup of tea.
Of living the whole life. Come down to the river.
Many of us go through life with a partner and really only recognize the fact that they may have gone, a bit like a picture on the wall. When that's gone, you suddenly realize what you've missed and what you are missing. And in this song, I thought about somebody waking up from a bad dream to think that their lover had gone out of their life, perhaps permanently, and wanted really to say thank you so much for being so an incredibly important part of my life. Awake with the dawn, something is wrong. Then I hear you breathing softly by my side, and I know that I've been dreaming of a time that may come when you would be no longer in my life. I slip out of bed, I go downstairs, still troubled by the power of the dream. When I stand beside you, I can feel the pride in my heart to know that you are here with me tonight. You are my lover, you are my friend, you are my life. Some years ago, I went on a holiday with my wife to Crete, and I loved the atmosphere, the buzz, the feeling of the heat, and particularly watching the old men chattering away to each other in the coffee bars and having a beer and discussing the old days, staring out to sea and dreaming. And I started coming up with this little song called Living on the Island. Day by day they drink and dream, old men staring out to sea from the island, living on the island. 2013, I'm going to be a very busy man because we're planning a European arena tour in the earlier part of the year, and later part of the year I hope to have a new album.
Living on the island.
I've already written about 9 new songs, and I suppose because I'm aware of how time passes even more quickly the older you get, and my voice is still in terrific shape. I love writing songs. That's something I can never stop doing. So having a new album out next year, 2013, is going to be really exciting for me because obviously we're going to be hopefully playing a couple of songs from that album on the tour, and then we have the release of it later in the year.
living on the island.
My first album, Far Beyond These Castle Walls, was of course in the era of vinyl records, which I still love. But I couldn't believe the fact that I was holding in my hands my first album. It was a huge thrill. And the song right at the very end mentioned every other track in the record. This is called Good Night.
And that old man in the sky, he's looking me right in the eye and he's wondering why. And he's saying, little singer, why aren't you sleeping?
One of the fascinating things about recording home, in my home, was the fact that as a style of recording, which is so relaxed, so intimate, I'm quite sure that I'm going to be bringing that to the next album. I also love the big songs, the epics, but there's already about 3 or 4 songs which I can record in the same sort of style as the home album, probably in my own home again.
And may your dreams take you traveling all night long, with an angel by your side when the wind blows strong.
For me, looking back on all those songs, I just feel it's lovely to revisit parts of me that are still there along the road, and to be able to do that, go back down that road and say, oh, I remember that bit, and that song, yeah, that reminds me. So that's why I wanted to bring home to a complete new generation of people who may not have heard these songs before.
In the sky.
I hope that they enjoy them in the same way as I have enjoyed recording them, almost like new pieces of material.
Till your time has come to say.
Thank you for bringing me to your home tonight.